The Crithian High Command had sent their best warriors to intercept the human vessel. Captain Vexthar watched through the viewport as his elite squadron surrounded the small craft that had violated their sacred hunting grounds. Humans were still new to the galactic community, barely a century since first contact, and this one had made a fatal mistake. "Prepare boarding protocols," Vexthar commanded, his mandibles clicking with anticipation. The Crithians were apex predators, evolved from pack hunters on a death world that made most species' planets look like nurseries. Their reputation alone kept entire sectors in line. The human ship didn't resist. It simply stopped, hovering there in space like a wounded bird accepting its fate. When they breached the airlock, Vexthar expected weapons, panic, or desperate pleas. Instead, they found a single human female sitting cross-legged on the floor of her cargo bay, surrounded by 4 juvenile Crithian cubs. The young predators, each already the size of a full-grown human, were curled against her, purring in their sleep. "What is this?" Vexthar's second-in-command hissed, raising his plasma rifle. The human looked up with calm brown eyes. "Your children were dying. I helped them. Impossible. Where did you—" "The debris field near the Helix Nebula. 3 days ago. Their pod was damaged, life support failing." She gently stroked the scaled head of the smallest cub. "I couldn't just leave them." Vexthar felt his blood chill. 3 days ago. The royal family's ship had been attacked by pirates. These weren't just any cubs, these were the sovereign's grandchildren. They had been declared lost, the entire fleet in mourning. "You took them?" His claws extended involuntarily. "I saved them," she corrected, her voice steady despite facing 7 armed warriors. Their pod was losing atmosphere. They had maybe an hour left. The smallest cub stirred, making a soft, chittering sound. The human, Dr. Sarah Chen, according to the ID patch on her suit, produced a bottle filled with a thick, protein-rich mixture. The cub latched onto it immediately, drinking with desperate hunger. "They were starving too," she continued, feeding the infant with practiced ease. "I've been synthesizing a formula from your species' nutritional database. It's not perfect, but it's kept them alive." Vexthar lowered his weapon slowly. His tactical mind was processing impossibilities. Crithian cubs were dangerous even at this age, their instincts honed for survival. They should have torn this fragile human apart within minutes of waking. Yet here they slept, peaceful and content, beside this small biped who should have been prey. "How did you calm them?" he asked, genuinely curious now. Sarah smiled, and there was something ancient in that expression, something that spoke of a different kind of predator. "I didn't, I just took care of them, fed them, kept them warm, sang to them when they cried." "Sang? It's what we do. For our young." She paused, looking down at the cubs. "For anyone's young, really. It's kind of our thing." One of Vexthar's warriors made a derisive sound. "Humans are weak, soft. You have no claws, no armor, no natural weapons." "No," Sarah agreed. "We don't, but we have something else." She looked up, meeting Vexthar's eyes directly. "We adopt." The word hung in the air like a challenge. "Your species conquered your world through pack hunting," she continued. "You're loyal to your blood, your clan. It makes you strong." She gestured to the sleeping cubs. "My species conquered our world by making everything part of our pack. We domesticated wolves. We befriended creatures that should have eaten us. We looked at infant predators and thought, that's a baby, before we thought that's a threat." Vexthar felt something shift in his understanding. The other species always wondered how humans had survived their planet, a world teeming with massive predators, toxic plants, and deadly microorganisms. They assumed it was tool use or intelligence. But looking at this scene, he realized it was something far more dangerous. Humans' weaponized compassion. "The Sovereign will want them returned," he said finally. "Of course." Sarah began gently waking the cubs. They stirred, chittering and clicking, pressing closer to her before recognizing the adult Crithians. "But they're scared. The attack traumatized them. They need familiar scents, familiar sounds." "You want to come with us," Vexthar stated, "just until they're settled, until they feel safe again." She stood, the smallest cub clinging to her shoulder. "I wouldn't abandon them now." The captain made a decision that would later be recorded in Crithian history texts. "You'll have quarters aboard the flagship." "Under guard," Sarah nodded. "That's fine." 3 weeks later, Vexthar stood in the observation deck watching an extraordinary sight. Dr. Chen sat in the palace gardens while the royal cubs played around her, healthy and rowdy now. But that wasn't what held his attention. His entire elite guard, warriors who had never shown weakness, never backed down from any fight, had stationed themselves around her ship. Not as captors, as protectors. They had taken rotating shifts without being ordered, ensuring her vessel remained untouched and secure. The sovereign approached, her scales gleaming in the sunset. "Your warriors have abandoned their posts. No, Your Majesty, they've chosen new ones." The sovereign's eyes gleamed with understanding. "The human is free to go whenever she wishes. But tell me, Captain, do you think she will?" Vexthar watched as Sarah laughed, the cubs tumbling over each other to reach her. "I think, Your Majesty, that we've just learned why humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. They don't conquer through force. They conquer through love. And we've just been conquered." The sovereign's mandibles curved into what might have been a smile. "Indeed. And I find I don't mind at all." In the gardens below, a human sang lullabies to alien predators who would have torn apart anyone else. And the galaxy's most feared warriors stood guard, not because they were ordered to, but because something primal in them recognized a truth as old as evolution itself. Some things are worth protecting, and humans had an uncanny ability to become one of those things.